A pioneer of ports, shipping and racing is honoured with a Group 1 that launches Victoria's Autumn Carnival. A champion of the day, the Night Patrol won the first CF4 in 1925 at the old Williamstown Racecourse. Heroic, High Cast and Flight are early winners embossed in the racer's ledger. The mighty Manicato won 3. Vo Rogue matched his record a decade later.
Vo Rogue will win his 3rd. Vo Rogue scores again from Superimpose King's highest.
Redout's Choice threw a marker down to open the century.
But Redout's is back in a fighting win.
The much lauded and loved Lonrose showed his customary heart and courage.
Lonrose stretching into his work now. The champion lunges, vocabulary went with him. He'll get it. Lonrose will get it.
Peter Moody nabbed 5 in 6 years. Typhoon Tracy twice, Black Caviar, Moment of Change and Dissidents.
But Dissident cuts away.
Peter Moody, a freakish run in the CF4.
Mr Brightside's Will to Chase landed him a last ride victory and 5th Group 1.
He got up. I think Mr B's back in town.
The Ore, an opening opportunity for greatness.
Skirts of the track, Amelia's Jewel at the clock tower with Fangirl, Steffi Magnetica and Mr Brightside driving through too. Mr Brightside hits the front from Ancino, Steffi Magnetica. Mr Brightside, Mr B's back. Growing Empire took the front, 100 metres to go from Estriella, then Southport Tycoon. Growing Empire is in front, holding on.
Mr Brightside goes to the front. Pinstripe running the race of his life, joining in. Pinstripe coming up to Mr Brightside, who leads it by a head, digging in deep. Pinstripe's coming after him. Pinstripe, EJ, you've done it! You're a Group 1 star.
Another Will needs a run behind them. Then Tamerlane, Age of Kings and Jimmy Star wide out. Stapati went to the front at the 250. From Tamerlane back to the inside, another Will. And Jimmy Star late, another Will. Darts back on the inside at the 100. Jimmy Star's flashing, but another Will's clear. Brought to the outside from Title Fighter, but Schwartz flicked up, has kicked away. Schwartz 3 or 4 lengths in front of Apache Song Semyon. Stapati from a mile back from Southport Tycoon, but it's all Schwartz with 50 metres to go. 2 lengths in front and Schwartz too strong.
Well, Mr Brightside won this race as an odds-on favourite last year. He touched $3 to go back-to-back on race day. He's back into $2.80. Bets along the way include $10,000 at 3, $6,000 at 3 and $10,000 at $2.90. So punters are plenty much sticking with the champ. The market mover, though, is the second leg, Another Will. Now $3.10, $4.20 was on offer post-barrier draw. He's trimmed up throughout the course of the week. Private Life rock solid at $8. Well, Schwartz has gone the other way. $6.50, got out to $9, just spec back into $8.50. Then Southport Tycoon, best the rest at $12. Fascinating betting race. The big bets have been with Mr Brightside, but the market mover is the second elect, Another Will. What's gambling really costing you? For free and confidential support, call the number on screen or visit the website.
This mounting yard is brought to you by the Tasmanian Summer Racing Festival. Visit goracingtasmania.com.au.
First held 100 years and 1 day ago, a Group 1 since 1993. It's the 101st edition of the Sportsbet CF4 Stakes over 1,400 metres at weight for age, 750,000 up for grabs. The first Group 1 of the Festival of Racing, the first Group 1 in Australia for 2025. Horse 1 is last year's winner, Mr Brightside. Last start winner in the spring of the Champions Mile. He was second in that race in 2023 before coming to win this race last year, defeating eventual Horse of the Year, Pride of Jenny.
7 or 8 time Group 1 winner, isn't he? He's the clear class horse of the race. He's got a strong first up record. I think this horse has to be more forward than what he was in the spring when he was defeated in the Memsie, because he probably wouldn't have been out of work that long. He can roll forward. He's got that tactical versatility. He's trialled really nicely. The trial suggests he's forward. I think he deserves to be favourite, and I'm surprised there's not more of a gap between him and the others in the market.
He looks fantastic. He's in such beautiful, healthy order, and he's such a gentleman on race day. He drops his head, he conserves his energy well. His coat's a gorgeous, rich colour. I don't know if he's quite as forward as what he was or where he might need to be. I think he's got a great base. I doubt that he would have been out in the paddock for very long at all. The stable do a great job of ticking them over, but I do feel like there's just a tiny bit of natural improvement to come. In saying that, he's a champion and they can run really well fresh even if they aren't 100%.
Can he become the 5th multiple winner? Kieran Maher with several runners in the Ora after placings the last 3 years. First of all, the 2 Southport Tycoon, Mark Zara, another with a good recent record in this race, and he's another who trots a familiar path via the Australia Stakes. First up.
Big gear change here with the application of the blinkers going on. That could really spark him into form. We've seen him win Group 1s with the blinkers on previously. He didn't have them on first up. He does need to improve, but it is an important gear change.
He's just a natural athlete, this horse, and I feel like he's come to hand perfectly for today's assignment. He's got a very imposing second up record, and I think the team have got him screwed right down for today.
3 is Pinstriped, who's looking to emulate what Mr. B did last year. Win the Memsey at the start of the spring, returned to win the All Fresh in February. Shinzig in 2008 was 11 weeks between runs when winning this, as Pinstriped is off his last start in the Cranbourne Cup.
Yeah, so he beat Mr. Brightside at this track and distance in the Memsey during the spring, and it's worth noting that was the only time he's beaten him in 7 clashes, and he did have the advantage of a run under the belt that time.
It's an excellent parade from him. He's very loose in his action. He's had a little bit of a sweat out the back at some point, just a sign of freshness, but I don't think that that's going to impact his performance. He's moving well, he's quite forward in condition.
Forced to party, Group 1 placed here in a Caulfield Guineas, Anna Rupert Clark. Blake McDougall's been on this horse for his last 3 rides, and he certainly struck some decent form, including an excellent effort late in the Australia Stakes.
I thought that was a terrific run, fastest last 200 of the race. He can potentially settle much closer to them, up to 1400. He's got a potential fitness advantage over most of his key rivals here, Amy, and gee, it looks it in the mounting yard. He has completely caught my attention. I haven't seen him in a long time on race day, but gee, he looks well.
I was just out the back and I've looked at all the runners out there, and I said to Paul and Holly, I think it's the best that I've ever seen him, to be fair. His coat is such a beautiful, rich, healthy colour, which is the healthiness from the inside coming out that we can see. He's moving well, he's fit. He should be running extremely well here.
5 is Another Will, the second of the Mar runners. Group 1 placed in the Rupert Clark. Jamie Carr, 4 Group 1s during last year's Festival of Racing, looking for her first under her married name of Jamie Mellom.
Resuming off a couple of jump outs, he won the latest in just sparkling fashion, beating Duke de Sessa, who won the previous race, under the lightest of riding. Look, it was a huge win at this track and distance last preparation first up, and he maps for the absolute softest run on the back of the leaders. Should get every chance. The market's long thought he's a Group 1 horse. The first up win last prep said he's a Group 1 horse. He gets the chance to prove it today.
Geez, he's forward in condition, this fellow. I feel like the team have done a power of work with him to get him right up to the mark, to run extremely well, fresh up. You can see such good tone over his rib cage. There's no fat on him. He's moving well. I think he looks fantastic.
6 is Freedom Rally, brought to Victoria first up by Tony Gollan, was 4th in the Kingsford Smith Cup during the Queensland Winter Carnival last year.
Yeah, look, he ran 3rd behind Another Will in that recent jump out. I think he'd need to go to a new level.
He looks really well. Credit to the stable for turning him out in fantastic order. He's got a good, happy look on his face. He looks a natural athlete.
7, Schwartz, looks to become the 3rd Australian Stakes winner in the past 14 years to collect the Ore.
This is grand final day for him. If he can win this Group 1 and it significantly increases his value, good winner first up, over 1200, should roll forward, and he might be very match.
He's a great type, this horse. I saw him out the back earlier and was really taken by him. He's moving particularly well. He'd got himself a little bit warm out the back and just a little bit again now on his flank, but he's lovely and relaxed. He's going to run up to expectation.
3rd of the Mar runners, the 8th Samana, gives Tom Stockdale his first Group 1 ride.
Yeah, good luck to Tom. She hit the line strongly first up on the Gold Coast. She'll be fitter for that. She's suited rising in distance. Look, this is a sharp rising class. I think she'd need to produce a new career peak, but she could run well.
Echo your sentiments in regards to Tom Stockdale. Good luck. He deserves a great opportunity. Mare looks fantastic. She's really relaxed. She looks fit.
9 is Super Smink, who is Group 1 placed in the Railway and its native WA 3-back.
Yeah, she ran huge races in both the Railway and the Gold Rush from a long way back. I think this is a significantly tougher assignment, though, and her racing pattern's going to make it tough because she's going to be back behind some really smart horses.
She's got a lovely glow to her coat, this horse. She's dappled from head to toe, moving well. It's a really deep race, isn't it?
10 Private Life looks to give Chris Waller his first or and become the 18th 3-year-old colt or gelding to win this race, and also emulate the deeds of Redout's Choice and All Too Hard in winning the Guineas in the spring and returning to take out this classic.
Yeah, so he was a Caulfield Guineas winner. Look, he was heavily advantaged by the pattern and a brilliant ride on the day. But I think the Champions sprint run after that proved that was absolutely no fluke, and arguably was his career peak. He's had a quiet recent trial, thought he went very nicely. He maps for a soft run. He may even be able to get the back of the leader here, which should give him every chance.
I feel like he's strengthened up considerably from last prep to this prep. It's this 3-year-old stage that they go through where they just sort of start to become young men. He looks excellent. It's a really, really good return from him. He's just got himself a bit warm behind, but I wouldn't have thought that's going to impact performance.
That's your field of 10. What a field it is for the first Group 1 of 2025 in Australia. The Sportsbet CF4 Stakes, the last 22 years, it's been an even split. The winner has been first or second up. 11 fresh, 11 second up. Stapati bringing a slightly different look of form to the race. Something that's not different is the presence of Mr. Brightside, Ben.
Yeah, I think he deserves to be a shorter price favourite than he is. He's just an outstanding racehorse. I think he probably should have some residual fitness from his last preparation. I love the recent trial to suggest that he does, and he's got that tactical versatility that maybe in the blinkers he can go forward and put himself right on the speed. Another Will gets his opportunity to prove what we've always suspected, that he's a Group 1 galloper, and he might be the one with more intent here first up. Maps for just the absolute run of the race for Jamie Mallum. Schwartz looks your leader. He will also have some intent. He was a dominant winner last time out, looks your leader in the race. And, gee, I love the parade of Stapati, Amy, who can probably settle a bit closer up to 1,400 metres. Who was the pick of the yard in the big one?
Well, I almost feel I'm being a little bit disrespectful by not having Mr. Brightside on top, because my heart wants to put him on top. I've gone with Another Will. I just think when you compare the two horses side by side, Another Will just looks that little bit fitter than what Mr. B does on this occasion. In saying that, Mr. Brightside is an absolute champion. You know that he's going to pin his ears back like the determined little horse that he is, and he's going to hit the line incredibly hard. Another horse that looked fantastic was Southport Tycoon, but really excited to see the running of the CFL Stakes here.
JD Hayes is with us. It's already been a spectacular day for Lindsay Parker with Here to Shock taking out the BCD sprint in New Zealand. Mr. Brightside looks to become the 5th multiple winner of the Ore. How's your boy?
He's super. He paraded beautifully, hasn't turned a hair, and he's absolutely glowing in the coat, and he's given us every indication to this point that he's going to put up a nice run, so hopefully that's the case.
Apart from it meeting the eye test in the Geelong trial, what have the markers at home been to just know exactly where he's at?
He's very easy to gauge because he's just so straightforward. Like, he gets home, he licks the bin, and we know his weight back to front and everything. All the checks and balances are ticked to get him to this point today. So honestly, I don't think we could have him in better condition. So hopefully we get the luck in running. Anything can happen at Weight for Age racing, and hopefully it goes to script, because on paper he looks the best horse. Slightly bigger field than last year and a couple of horses who bring Group 1 form lines. What's the shape look like for Craig? It looks a bit tricky. It'll be interesting to see how the first 200 metres pans out. But yeah, we'll be nice and positive, and yeah, it's going to be an interesting watch. You might have to do it a bit tough. Good luck. Thank you.
Here we go, $2.60 now, in from $2.70. Great little interview there, Mr. B. He's up and he's about. Loved his last trial, and so did punters. He's the horse to beat here, upwards of 65% of turnover now. What's Craig Williams going to do? At Weight for Age, you can't afford to get it wrong anywhere. Mr. Brightside, $2.60. Another Will, $3.40, the best backed outside of him, and he's your market mover. This is a good push for him to beat Mr. Brightside, $4.53.30. Holding, $3.40. Another Will's here to play. He'll be in front of him. Private Life just holding there. Outside of that's the party. Some each way play with Southport Tycoon. But they have to beat the champ. Get your bets on. This is the feature. What are you really gambling with? For free and confidential support, call the 1-800 number. Visit the website.
Well, you've got two totally opposite types of horses in the leadership for favouritism here. You've got Another Will, who I just saw canter around beautifully with a very long stride. He looks very fit, very ready to go. And then you've got Mr. Brightside, who's got that shorter, choppier stride. But he always carries that little bit of extra weight, and he always sort of gives you that feeling that maybe he might be that one run short. But, geez, he always puts in, doesn't he? So two opposing horses there, but we know that they'll both give it a good crack today. Of the others, just having a look at them canter around, I was really taken by Stapati. I can see why Ben Asghari took a shining to him in the mounting yard as well. Thought this horse comes into this race in excellent order. He was really stretching out beautifully and just had that real glint in his eye that he's going to do some damage today.
Horses heading towards the start for the CF4 Stakes. 260 versus 330. The favourite, Mr. Brightside versus Another Will. In terms of how this race pans out, Ben, is there an obvious leader or speed or how this may eventuate?
I think if so, and I think it's Schwartz who'll have a lot of intent. It's a valuable race for him. Being an entire, so I'm expecting him to go forward and try and control things. I do think Private Life and Another Will are going to be really close here. There's a lot of intent with both of them too. I think they'll probably park just in behind a Schwartz. I wouldn't be surprised if he jumps well in the blinkers to see Craig Williams have a look early to come across with Schwartz and maybe even own this race, look to settle in second position. I think Stapati can be a lot closer today too. He's drawn well, maybe his third pair up to 1,400 metres. But great field, and I wouldn't be surprised if there's a bit more intent early with a few of these, Nigel, than what we were expecting earlier in the week.
Which is what we want in our feature Group 1s, and this is an exciting race on an annual basis where we start to see more clashes between the emerging 3-year-olds and then some others who want to throw their hat in the ring, and a horse like Stapati who brings fitness from what has been a pretty steady campaign for Paul Prushka through October, November, the trip to Sydney to tackle in Ingham, and then, as we know, that little freshen up before a terrific run in the Group 2 Australia Stakes, the race that's provided 7 of the last 14 winners of the CF4 Stakes. Zed, any little late moves? They've come for Mr. Brightside?
They've both been very firm, these top two in the market, so they're the two that the majority of punters are working towards, but Private Life getting good support, and off that inside draw, he could be very close here first up.
Yeah, I think he really can. It's just the tale of two betting moves, isn't it? Another Will was $5 earlier in the week. He was back all the way through to about 10 minutes ago where they were basically $3 each of two, and then the big players late have gone 3 to 260, Mr. Brightside, and Another Will out to 330. But they've both been really well backed. Nigel, here comes the big one.
Love this race. The 101st edition of the CF4 Stakes. Here's Matt Hill.
Smink and Pinstriped, a previous Group 1 winner over this course and trip to complete the line. They're just about locked away for a greatly anticipated CF4 Stakes as the starter heads over to the platform. Now Super Smink is called forward. Super Smink being brought along. Mr. Brightside and Another Will solidly backed as favourite and second favourites as Super Smink goes in, Pinstriped completing it now. The favourite, Mr. Brightside, drawn barrier 8. Pinstripe needing just a little bit of encouragement to come along. Goes in now, set for the oar. The 101st running. Set, and they're racing. Beautiful line two. Samana's going back to the end with Pinstriped. Another Will noses Private Life in the early strides, and then came Schwartz out deeper. Stapati's nice and close outside of Southport Tycoon. Mr. Brightside, initially 4th or 5th, is now moving around the field. So it's Schwartz leading off the back at the 1,000 metres by a length to Mr. Brightside. They were followed by in third Private Life, and then Another Will. A length and a half Southport Tycoon. Stapati. 2 lengths Freedom Rally outside of Super Smink, and then towards the end of the field, Samana and also Pinstripe. They continue their journey past the 800 where it's Schwartz striding out, tries to get a buffer over the champ. So the leader Schwartz by 2 lengths, Mr. Brightside, a length and 3/4 Private Life. Then came Another Will, a length and a half Southport Tycoon at the 500. Further back is Stapati, Super Smink, Samana, Freedom Rally and Pinstripe. Schwartz comes up towards the corner, tries to run them ragged as they reach the 350. It's off the rails. Mr. Brightside is idling up. Private Life's got to run up on the inside, then Another Will. Mr. Brightside went to the front at the 250, hands and heels. 2 lengths, Another Will. Private Life, Super Smink. Mr. Brightside, 100 to go. Another Will, 3/4 of a length coming at Mr. Brightside. Mr. Brightside, Another Will's got it. Another Will, an emotional win at Woolsthorpe. Another Will has won it. from Mr. Brightside and Gapster Party. They were followed by Private Life Samana in a photo, and then Southport Tycoon Super Spinks run a race. Schwartz got tired, Freedom Rally, and behind them Pinstriped. A magnificent renewal of the oar. Another Will's got up to beat Mr. Brightside.
Well, sometimes these things are written in the stars. The late Colin McKenna would have turned 75 last Tuesday. In the space of an hour, the horse that gave him a Caulfield Cup in his final days, Duke de Sessa, and now the horse that is named after his grandson and gave him so many thrills in Another Will, is a Group 1 winner. Jamie Mellom has the first Group 1 winner under her married name, her 16th overall. She made the Festival of Racing of 2024 her own with 4 victories, and she started in stunning fashion as well. And Kieran Maher, after placings with Lighthouse, Nugget and Pride of Jenny the last 3 years in the CF4 Stakes, has the 101st edition of this race, and embraced with both Colin McKenna's late partner Janice and also Kieran Maher Racing CEO Ben Salinger. Mr. Brightside loses no admirers. He did all the work to pull them up to Schwartz and was just found wanting late in a fantastic CF4 Stakes. 5-1, 4-10 your numbers. Jamie Mellom is with Charlotte Littlefield.
Yeah, Jamie Mellom, your first Group 1 under that new name. And what a way to do it on this horse that means so much to you, obviously to so many. I don't think there'll be a dry eye in the grandstand, and Janice will be absolutely with this. Well done.
Look, I thought about this day, dreamed about it the last few days, but it's amazing that things like this happen in racing. Like, there's a God in racing, there's a Colin in racing. This horse has deserved it. So many starts, but to do it for Cole after his birthday on Tuesday is just amazing. I know he's watching down on us, and Another Will lifted for his dad. That was amazing.
I don't think there was a God in racing, but there definitely is now, and that was absolutely outstanding. Did you think you had it won a long way out?
No, I thought at the 200 he's going to run another terrific second in the Group 1, but as soon as I switched the whip, it's just like he just picked up. He did that. He did that the other day at Flemington. He hits a bit of a flat spot and doesn't really. You think he's going to run a nice race, and then he just finds another leg. That was an amazing win.
I know this means so much to you, so I'm not going to pressure you for any more here. I want you to soak this moment up before you head back in there, but that was extraordinary. Well done.
Thank you. I don't think I'm talking sense right now. It's just gibberish, but Cole, that's for you. We love you.
We do love you, Cole. Well done, Jamie. That was amazing.
James Barker, it's an emotional win for Jamie Carr and the McKenna family. How do you feel?
Oh, it's an incredible win. Very special to be a part of. My heart's going right now, but that horse is incredible. He deserves it. And Kieran, Cole, Jamie, like that whole situation and whole family, and it means so much to them as well.
And what about to you? Have you ever strapped a Group 1 winner before?
No, I've been in first Group 1. I've strapped him in 2 other Group 1s and been very close, but to get it done today, it's incredible.
It must make all the early mornings, the long hours and everything like that all worth it to get a feeling like this.
Oh, definitely. And I've spent a lot of time with him, working with him, and he's not always the easiest horse to handle. And, he takes a bit of work, but he's very special.
Congratulations. Enjoy this moment.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So Another Will victorious. He slays the champ here first up over the 1,400 metres and could be in for a good preparation between these two duelling. You'd imagine they both head on a similar path, whether it's the Futurity, then the potentially the All-Star Mile. There's a lot more races in their wheelhouse where they're expected to meet again, probably in similar conditions here in 2 weeks' time. But he jumped well. He was able to stalk Mr. Brightside and just packed too many punches in the final stages. So he hadn't been proven at weight for age in the past up against a horse who had a glittering weight for age CV, but it just goes to show you can cause an upset, and it wasn't even that big of an upset, but he can still improve and get the result. Let's hear from the winning trainer and Kieran Maher.
After placings in the Ore the last 3 years, finally the trophy is his. Kieran Maher joins us after Another Will takes out the 101st edition of the CF4 Stakes. With everything that has happened, how are you going processing this?
It's beautiful. You know, I think it's the first one that Cole and Janice bred to win a Group 1, you know. That's very, very special. Colin always loved this horse in particular. And, you know, I was just saying I've resisted the temptation to sort of take him to that top level because he's needed time to mature, and Cole was always very patient, and it's probably not fitting that he can't be here. He just would have been so thrilled, but you know, I'm pretty proud, and he's such a great mentor and friend and supporter. It's just beautiful. So great for Janice and you know, all his friends and family. He always included everyone. You know, a lot of them are in the horse, and Jamie, she was obviously very close to him as well. They were big supporters of hers through her tough times and that. So, yeah, it's phenomenal. And, you know, what a thrilling race. Like Brightside, he's such a tough old bugger to get past. And, yeah, I was thrilled. And, you know, hopefully this, you know, over the next sort of 12 months, couple of years, he can really go on with it now.
He's related to a Jericho winner. At what stage in his time did you start to think that he could be, one, a special horse, but one who could show his deeds over a third of the distance of the relation?
Yeah, well, that, you know, Will John is probably bigger again than him, and doesn't look like he's got much turn of foot, and doesn't. But this bloke always showed that. He always travelled really well. He was winning races from the front, from the back, and just doing things that good horses do, you know, like overcoming sort of, you know, when things didn't go to plan and still winning. So he showed that sort of right from day one. We raised the bar on the Doncaster when he got in. That was a pretty thrilling, but he just wasn't quite there. You know, mentally he sort of drew a wide gate and had to do a bit, but, you know, it's patience, as they say, is a virtue, and he's finally got there, so it's pretty special.
Very much. What does the road ahead look like for another Will?
Well, he'll just go through the weight for age path. You know, see what sort of weight he gets up in Sydney as to, you know, the big miles up there. But I don't know. We'll celebrate this one, and he's got plenty of options now.
Well, CF4 does square away a spot in an All-Star Mile. He's shown more than a capability to handle Flemington. Would that be something you'd like to sort of use as a trampoline then into Sydney?
Yeah, I'm sure he'll get a few votes after today. Yeah, the All-Star Mile, it seems like a natural progression for him. And, you know, he's got good form at Flemington as well. So the All-Star seems fitting as well.
Kieran, well done. I know, and every